The abduction. High Counselor Zexval stood before the curved observation window, four elongated fingers pressed against the transparent material as he gazed at the blue-green world rotating slowly below. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, represented both salvation and risk for his species. The Xeraxian people had ruled their sector of the galaxy for millennia, their technological and biological superiority unquestioned, until the genetic cascade began. The projections remain unchanged, High Counselor. Science Director Mev Lorne said, her voice a melodic trill that barely masked her desperation. Complete species collapse within 3 generations. Our genome has become too specialized, too refined. We've engineered ourselves into extinction. Zexval turned from the window, his silver-scaled skin catching the artificial light. And these humans are the solution. A species that only achieved rudimentary space travel a century ago. Biologically speaking, they are remarkably resilient. Mev Lorne activated a holographic display showing human DNA sequences. Their genetic diversity is staggering. More importantly, their cellular structure contains regenerative properties we've never encountered. Our simulations indicate a 94% compatibility rate with our own genome, and the Council has approved the acquisition. Unanimously, Mev Lorne confirmed. The diplomatic mission serves as our cover. While our ambassadors discuss technological exchange programs with their governments, our collection teams will extract suitable specimens. Children, Zexval corrected. Call them what they are. Juvenile humans, Mev Lorne conceded with a slight bow. Yes, their adaptability is highest before maturity. We need 50 specimens, demographically diverse. Extraction teams have identified remote settlements where removals will attract minimal attention. The High Counselor returned his gaze to Earth. And what of the Galactic Council's non-interference directives? Earth remains classified as a developing world, Mev Lorne replied. The humans have no formal standing in galactic affairs. By the time any investigation occurs, our work will be complete. Zexval's secondary eyelids slid closed in what passed for a Xeraxian sigh. Proceed with the operation, but maintain strict containment protocols. I want no evidence leading back to us. Of course, High Counselor. In the small mountain town of Pine Ridge, Colorado, 8-year-old Ellie Morgan was the first to see the lights. They descended silently over the forest behind her house, pulsing with colors she couldn't name. Her little brother Jaden spotted them too, pointing excitedly as they slipped out the back door while their parents slept. Similar scenes played out across the globe, in a fishing village in Vietnam, a remote farm in Argentina, and a boarding school in northern Sweden. Children vanished without trace, leaving behind only the faintest energy signatures that local authorities dismissed as equipment malfunctions. 23 days after the first abduction, 52 children from 17 countries had disappeared. The incidents were too widespread, too carefully targeted to be the work of human traffickers. When the Pentagon finally connected the dots, Major General Claire Richardson felt ice form in her veins. We're certain, President Harlow asked, her face grave as she studied the classified briefing. Beyond reasonable doubt, Madam President, General Richardson confirmed. The energy signatures matched those recorded during the Singapore incident 3 years ago. This is extraterrestrial activity, and it's targeting our children. Defense Secretary Oakes pinched the bridge of his nose. Why children? And why now? The Galactic Council assured us after Singapore that Earth was under their protection. Protection apparently doesn't mean what we thought it did, the President replied. What's our response capability, General? Richardson straightened. Project Prometheus has made significant advances, Madam President. The reverse-engineered propulsion systems are operational. Our first deep space vessels can be launch-ready within 72 hours. And weapons systems. Theoretical, but promising, Richardson said carefully. The deterrent potential alone. We're not looking for deterrence, President Harlow interrupted, her voice sharp. These are our children, General. I want them back. She looked around the Situation Room. Invoke Death Kyon too. Activate Project Prometheus and contact the Galactic Council representative. I want answers before we launch." Ambassador Tolvax of the Galactic Council shifted uncomfortably in his specially designed chair. Even after 3 years serving as liaison to Earth, he found human environments unsettling. The gravity slightly too strong, the atmosphere too rich in nitrogen. The ambassador's translucent skin flushed a deep purple. "Madam President, I understand your concern, but the Council has detected no unauthorized visitations to your world. Perhaps your scanning equipment is malfunctioning." "Our equipment is functioning perfectly," General Richardson cut in. "We've tracked the energy signatures to a vessel that departed Earth orbit 26 hours ago, heading toward the Cygnus arm." Tolvax's compound eyes widened briefly before he regained composure. "I find that highly unlikely, General. Earth remains under restrictive classification. No spacefaring civilization would risk Council sanctions by interfering with your development." "Then explain the disappearances," the President demanded. "I cannot," Tolvax admitted. "But I assure you, the Council takes these allegations seriously. We will investigate and report our findings in due course." "Due course," President Harlow repeated flatly. "Ambassador, I'm not sure you understand the situation. These are our children. Earth will not wait for bureaucratic processes. We've activated our defensive protocols and are preparing to launch our own search and rescue operation." For the first time, alarm crossed the ambassador's features. "Madam President, Earth does not possess the technology for interstellar travel. Any attempt to—" "We possess more than you think," Ambassador Richardson interrupted. "And we're fast learners. I must strongly caution against any unauthorized deployment of spacecraft beyond your solar system," Tolvax said, rising from his chair. "Such action would violate numerous Council directives and could result in serious consequences for Earth's future standing." The President stood as well, hands planted firmly on the table. "Ambassador, I'm not asking for permission. I'm extending the courtesy of notification. Earth's children have been taken. We're going to get them back. The only question is whether the Galactic Council will help us or stand in our way." Aboard the Ziraxian research vessel Evolutionary Imperative, Chief Genetic Engineer Casmore reviewed the preliminary scans of the human specimens. The results exceeded even his most optimistic projections. Each child represented a unique genetic fingerprint, with cellular regeneration rates 3 times what their simulations had predicted. "Begin the extraction procedures," he instructed his team. "Full cellular sampling with particular attention to neural tissue and reproductive systems." "High Counselor Zexval is requesting a progress report," his assistant noted. "Inform him that initial results are promising," Casmore replied. "The specimens are in excellent condition despite the journey. We've placed them in stasis to minimize distress." In the observation chamber above the lab, junior researcher Vental watched the rows of stasis pods with growing unease. Inside each translucent cylinder, a human child floated in suspended animation, their small faces peaceful in artificial sleep. "They look so aware," she commented to her colleague. Senior researcher Drenzor didn't look up from his data tablet. "An illusion. Their brains show minimal activity in this state. Has the Council considered the ethical implications?" Vental pressed. "These are sentient beings, not lab animals." "The ethics were settled before we launched," Drenzor replied tersely. "The survival of our species against the temporary discomfort of a few primitives. There is no comparison." He finally looked up, his expression softening slightly. "The humans won't be harmed permanently. Once we've harvested what we need, their memories will be modified, and they'll be returned to their world." Vental's posture remained rigid. "And if their world comes looking for them?" Drenzor laughed, a harsh clicking sound. "With what? Their technology is centuries behind ours. They haven't even mastered their own planet's climate." He turned back to his work. "Focus on your assignment, junior researcher. Leave politics to the Council." 3 days after their meeting with Ambassador Tolvax, President Harlow stood in the underground hangar of Project Prometheus, watching as engineers made final preparations on Earth's first interstellar fleet. The 5 vessels didn't look impressive by science fiction standards, utilitarian, almost industrial in design, but they represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. The Galactic Council has denied our request for assistance, Secretary Oakes reported, joining her at the observation window. Their official position is that no evidence supports our claim of extraterrestrial abduction. They're stalling, Richardson said, her uniform crisp despite having worked for 72 hours straight. Either they're complicit, or they're afraid of what we might discover, or they're protecting someone, the president added. What's our launch window? 6 hours, Richardson replied. The tracking data gives us a heading, but we're still working on pinpointing the exact destination. What about the technology? Will it hold? Richardson's confidence didn't waver. The Singapore wreckage gave us the blueprint for their faster-than-light technology. Our engineers have been adapting it for 3 years. It's untested in actual space, but the simulations are promising. Promising isn't the same as reliable, General. No, Madam President, it isn't. But it's all we've got. Richardson gestured toward the ships. We've equipped the fleet with our best people, military, scientific, and medical. They know what's at stake. President Harlow nodded slowly. Launch is scheduled. And General, remind your people, this is a rescue mission, not a war. But if anyone tries to stop them, they have full authorization to overcome resistance, Richardson finished. We bring our children home, whatever it takes. As the president departed, Richardson turned her attention back to the vessels. The flagship's name was just becoming visible as workers applied the final sections of the hull plating. UES Nemesis. It seemed fitting. In ancient mythology, Nemesis was the goddess who enacted retribution against those who succumbed to hubris, especially when they wronged the innocent. Someone in the vast expanse of stars had taken humanity's children, believing there would be no consequences. They were about to learn otherwise. The reckoning. High alert sirens wailed throughout the Ziraxian research facility. Casmore stared at the long-range sensor data in disbelief, his scales flushing a pale yellow in distress. This is impossible, he hissed. Confirm these readings immediately. His assistant's fingers flew across the holographic interface. Confirmed, Chief Engineer. 5 vessels approaching at trans-light velocity. Their trajectory indicates Earth origin. The humans don't possess trans-light capability, Casmore insisted. Their technological development is carefully monitored. The evidence suggests otherwise, Science Director Mev Lorne said as she entered the command center. Their vessels will reach our system within 30 hours. Casmore's secondary eyelids flickered rapidly. How did they track us across 70 light-years? How did they even leave their solar system? Questions for later. Mev Lorne replied sharply. Contact High Counselor Zexval immediately. We need defensive reinforcements. The planetary defense grid is already at maximum capacity, the security chief reported. But these readings suggest the human vessels have weapons signatures we've never encountered. Mev Lorne examined the data herself, her posture stiffening. They've adapted Mevlari phase technology. How did they acquire Mevlari technology? The humans have never even encountered the Mevlari. The Singapore incident, junior researcher Vental said quietly from her station. All eyes turned to her, and she continued with more confidence. 3 Earth years ago, a Mevlari scout ship crashed in a human city. The Council reported all technology was recovered, but evidently not. Mev Lorne finished. Accelerate the genetic extraction procedures. We need complete samples before the humans arrive. The specimens require at least 3 more cycles for complete cellular mapping. Casmore protested. Then take what you can get in the time available, Mev Lorne ordered. This project is too important to abandon. Aboard the UES Nemesis, Captain Sophia Reeves studied the tactical display as her ship emerged from its 4th consecutive spacefold, a maneuver that bent space-time in ways that still made her physicists nervous. Status report, she ordered, Her voice calm despite the tension radiating through the bridge. All systems nominal, Captain, her XO responded. Fleet formation maintained through the fold. Minor power fluctuations in secondary systems, but nothing critical. And our target? Confirmed, the sensor officer replied. We've tracked the energy signature to a planetary system designated KX-219. 8 planets orbiting a G-type star, with the signature localized to the 4th planet. A terrestrial world with atmospheric conditions similar to Earth. Reeves nodded. Any sign they've detected our approach? Difficult to determine at this range, but their defensive systems appear to be activating. As expected, Reeves murmured. She pressed a comm button on her chair. Commander Powell, status of the insertion team. The voice that answered was steady and professional. Ready and waiting, Captain. Equipment checked and double-checked. We'll get those kids back. I know you will, Reeves replied. Stand by for deployment once we establish orbit. After closing the channel, she opened a fleet-wide communication. All vessels, this is Captain Reeves. In 26 hours, we will arrive at our destination. We have confirmed the presence of the abducted children on the 4th planet of System KX-219. Every minute counts now. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. We represent humanity's first military presence beyond our solar system. Our mission is clear. Recover our children and return them safely home. We will attempt diplomatic contact first, but make no mistake, we are prepared to use force if necessary. Engineering to bridge, a new voice cut in. Captain, we're detecting unusual subspace distortions ahead. Signature matches Galactic Council vessels. Reeves frowned. How many? 3 ships, Captain. Cruiser class by their size. They're positioning themselves between us and the target system. Maintain course, Reeves ordered. Open communication channels when we're in range. Ambassador Tolvax had never expected to find himself in this position, aboard the Council enforcement vessel Pax Galactica, preparing to intercept unauthorized human warships. The situation violated every protocol in Council diplomacy. The human vessels have detected us, the Qatari captain reported. They are maintaining course and speed. Open communications, Tolvax instructed. When the channel activated, he straightened his posture. Human vessels, this is Ambassador Tolvax of the Galactic Council. You are in violation of Council Directive 5593. Power down your engines and prepare for escort back to your solar system. The response came almost immediately, accompanied by a visual transmission showing the human female in what appeared to be a military uniform. Ambassador Tolvax, this is Captain Sophia Reeves of the United Earth ship Nemesis. We are on a rescue mission to recover abducted human children. Our intelligence confirms they are being held on the 4th planet of the system ahead. We request your assistance in this humanitarian operation. Tolvax exchanged glances with the Qatari captain before responding. Captain Reeves, the Council has investigated your claims and found no evidence of extraterrestrial involvement in the disappearances you reported. Furthermore, Earth has not been granted interstellar travel rights. Your vessels must return to Earth immediately. The human captain's expression hardened. Ambassador, with all due respect, we tracked the abductors across 70 light years. We have confirmed energy signatures and biological readings. The children are there, and we're going to get them. You can either help us or get out of our way. Captain, I must insist. Ambassador, Reeves interrupted. In the time since we notified you of the abductions, 52 families have been waiting to learn if their children are alive or dead. We've waited for Council action. We've followed your protocols. Now we're taking matters into our own hands. She leaned forward, her gaze intense. Your enforcement vessels are impressive, but our engineers have been quite creative with the technology we salvaged from Singapore. I strongly recommend you do not test our capabilities. Tolvax felt a chill run through his central nervous system. The human's confidence was unnerving. Captain Reeves, if you proceed, you risk inciting an interspecies incident, with whoever you believe is holding these children. The consequences could be severe. The incident began when they took our children, Ambassador, Reeves replied. We're merely responding. Nemesis out. The transmission cut, and Tolvax turned to the captain. Maintain position. Do not fire unless fired upon. I need to consult with the Council immediately. On the Xeraxian homeworld, High Counselor Zek-Svel faced the emergency session with growing dread. The human fleet had bypassed the Council enforcement vessels without firing a shot, using some form of short-range teleportation technology that their sensors couldn't track. How did they find us? Counselor Dravkor demanded. How did they cross 70 light-years in less than 30 days? The how is irrelevant now, Zek-Svel replied. They're here, approaching our orbit. The question is what we do about it. Deploy the planetary defense grid, Dravkor insisted. These are primitives, regardless of how they arrived. Our technology is superior. Science Director Mevlorn shook her head. Preliminary scans of their vessels indicate they've adapted technology from at least 3 different Council species. Their weapons systems are innovative. I cannot guarantee our defenses would prevail. Then we negotiate, Counselor Ithbar suggested. Return the specimens and offer reparations. The genetic extraction is nearly complete, Mevlorn countered. Another 6 hours and we'll have what we need. Zek-Svel raised a hand for silence. They've opened a communication channel. The central hologram activated, revealing the same human female who had confronted the Council vessels. This is Captain Sophia Reeves of the UES Nemesis, representing the government of Earth. You have abducted 52 human children. Return them immediately, unharmed, or face the consequences. Zek-Svel stepped forward. Captain Reeves, I am High Counselor Zek-Svel of the Xeraxian Dominion. There appears to be a misunderstanding. There is no misunderstanding, Reeves interrupted. Our scans have confirmed the presence of human children in your research facility. Return them now, or we will recover them by force. Your aggression is unwarranted. Zek-Svel tried again. The specimens are part of a critical research program. They will be returned to Earth once our work is complete. Their comfort and safety are assured. Specimens, Reeves repeated, her voice dangerously quiet. Those are our children, Counselor, not specimens. You have 1 hour to begin transport of all 52 children to our vessels. After that, we will take action. The transmission ended abruptly. Zek-Svel turned to his council, his scales now a deep blue of concern. Accelerate the extraction, he ordered, and prepare our defenses. The humans may have surprised us with their technology, but they remain outnumbered. Commander Dylan Powell led his team through the maintenance shaft of the Xeraxian research facility, their advanced stealth suits rendering them nearly invisible to the facility sensors, while Captain Reeves kept the Xeraxians distracted with demands and threats. The real rescue operation was already underway. 2 guards ahead, Lieutenant Santos whispered through the tactical comm. Standard rotation pattern, changing in 30 seconds. Powell raised his fist, signaling a halt. When the guards moved on, he led his team forward, consulting the holographic map projected from his wrist unit. The facility was vast, but their intelligence had narrowed the likely location of the children to 3 levels. Thermal scans show 51 distinct human signatures 2 levels below us, Santos reported. Temperature readings indicate they're in some kind of stasis. 51, Powell questioned. There should be 52. The last signature is separate, Santos explained. Different section, showing higher metabolic activity. They may have 1 child outside stasis. Powell frowned behind his visor. Change of plan. Alpha team with me to the main group. Lieutenant, take Bravo team and locate the isolated signature. Priority is recovery of all children before the Xeraxians realize we're here. The teams split at the next junction. Powell led his group downward, disabling security systems as they went. These aliens had clearly never expected anyone to infiltrate their facility, their security surprisingly lax for such a crucial operation. When they reached the stasis chamber, the sight before them froze Powell momentarily. Rows of cylindrical pods lined the massive room, each containing a floating child, tubes and sensors attached to their small bodies. "Life signs?" he asked, his voice tight with controlled anger. "Stable," their medic reported after scanning the nearest pod. "They're in suspended animation, but vital signs are strong. No evidence of permanent damage." "Begin extraction," Powell ordered. "Initiate the wake-up sequence according to protocol and prepare for transport." As his team moved into action, Powell studied the alien technology. For a species advanced enough to cross interstellar space and evade detection, their security protocols were surprisingly vulnerable to human countermeasures. It was almost as if they'd never expected to be challenged. "Their arrogance is our advantage," he muttered to himself before joining his team in the delicate process of reviving the children. In the command center, junior researcher Vental was the first to notice the anomaly. "Director, there's unauthorized access to the stasis chamber environmental controls." Mevlorn rushed to her station. "How? Our systems show no breaches." "I don't know," Vental admitted, "but the stasis fields are being systematically deactivated." "Security teams to the stasis chamber immediately," Mevlorn ordered. "Lock down all transportation nodes." But it was already too late. Alarms blared throughout the facility as security systems registered the presence of intruders who had somehow been inside for over 20 minutes without detection. "The humans have deployed some kind of advanced infiltration team," Casmore realized. "How did they get past our perimeter?" "The same way they crossed 70 light-years in 30 days, Mevlorn replied grimly. "We underestimated them." Severely. On the tactical display, they watched as security teams converged on the stasis chamber, only to find themselves facing weapons they'd never encountered before. The human operatives moved with practiced precision, protecting the now-conscious children, while systematically neutralizing Xeraxian resistance. "They're not killing our people," Vental observed with surprise. "They're using non-lethal suppression technology." "What about Subject 37? Casmore suddenly asked. "The specialized extraction chamber." Mevlorn's scales paled. "Send additional security there immediately." Lieutenant Santos found the isolated chamber after disabling 2 research assistants who had tried to block their path. Inside, a single child, a young girl no more than 10, lay on an examination table, connected to various monitoring devices. Unlike the others, she was conscious, her eyes wide with fear. "Hi there," Santos said softly, removing her tactical helmet. "My name's Elena. I'm from Earth. We've come to take you home." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "Home? Really?" "Really," Santos confirmed, gesturing for the medic to check the child's condition. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Ellie," the girl whispered. "Ellie Morgan. Are my mom and dad okay?" "They're waiting for you," Santos assured her, carefully removing the monitoring devices. "They'd miss you very much." As the medic prepared Ellie for transport, the door to the chamber slid open. Santos spun, weapon raised, only to find herself facing not security personnel, but a single Xeraxian in what appeared to be research attire. "Don't," the alien said, raising empty hands. "I'm not trying to stop you." Santos kept her weapon trained on the Xeraxian. "Step aside." "I will," the alien agreed. "But you should know, the humans weren't taken randomly. They were selected for specific genetic markers that could save our species from extinction. We're dying. That doesn't justify kidnapping children," Santos replied coldly. "No," the Xeraxian admitted. "It doesn't. But perhaps when you return to your world, you might suggest to your leaders that there are other ways we might work together, ways that don't involve theft or deception." Santos studied the alien for a long moment. "What's your name?" "Vental, junior researcher." "Well, junior researcher Vental, I'll pass along your message. But right now, we're leaving with the children." The Xeraxian stepped aside. I won't try to stop you. 1 hour and 17 minutes after Captain Reeves issued her ultimatum, all 52 children were safely aboard the Nemesis, being treated by the medical team. The Xeraxian defense grid remained active but had not fired upon the human vessels. High Counselor Zexval is requesting to speak with you, the communications officer reported. Reeves nodded. On screen, the Xeraxian leader appeared, his scales a subdued gray. Captain Reeves, it seems you have recovered your children. We have, Reeves confirmed. They're safe and will be returning home with us. You penetrated our most secure facility, Zexval said, an edge of disbelief in his voice, a feat no species has accomplished in over a millennium. Perhaps you should reconsider your assessment of humanity as primitive, Reeves suggested. Indeed. The High Counselor paused. You should know that our actions, while admittedly transgressive, were motivated by desperation. The Xeraxian species faces extinction without the genetic diversity unique to your kind. There are appropriate channels for scientific cooperation, Reeves replied. Kidnapping children isn't one of them. So we have learned, Zexval acknowledged. Will your government be seeking retribution? Reeves considered the question. That's not my decision to make, but I suggest you prepare a comprehensive explanation for both Earth and the Galactic Council. We'll be filing formal charges. The Council will not look favorably upon your military incursion into foreign space, Zexval warned. And yet here we are, Reeves replied evenly. A supposedly primitive species that crossed 70 light-years, bypassed your defenses, and extracted our people without firing a shot. I suspect the Council will have questions for both of us. She leaned forward. One last thing, Counselor. Should any Earth children go missing in the future, we will hold the Xeraxian Dominion responsible, regardless of evidence. Am I clear? Perfectly, Captain, Zexval responded. Safe journey home. As the transmission ended, Reeves turned to her XO. Set course for Earth. Maximum safe speed. And the Council vessels, Captain, they're still holding position at the system boundary. Send them a message, Reeves said, rising from her chair. Inform Ambassador Tolvax that we have recovered all 52 abducted children and are returning to Earth. Suggest that the Council might want to investigate why one of its member species was conducting illegal genetic experiments. Think they'll actually investigate. Reeves allowed herself a small smile. After today, I think they'll have to reconsider a lot of their assumptions about humanity. She walked to the observation window, watching as the stars prepared to streak past. The children were safe. Earth had demonstrated its resolve. And somewhere in the vast bureaucracy of the Galactic Council, a file on humanity was being hastily updated. The galaxy had just learned an important lesson. When it came to protecting their young, humans were the most relentless hunters in the known universe. And they were just getting started.